What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the huge UI overhaul you've been waiting for and might even get over in Modern Warfare 2. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and let me know down below in the comment section, how are you still feeling about the Hulu-inspired UI that we got for COD 2.0? Obviously, a former Hulu designer did make this, and I still feel like if any future Call of Duty game is on the same Modern Warfare engine going forward, which they're all probably going to be, the UI will probably be roughly the same for every future installment. But since I want to say the start of Season 1, they did promise to make some improvements to the UI and UX for COD 2.0, and since that promise, we have gotten some improvements added to the game. We got improvements to the social tab, the new groups feature, cleaner navigation for camo progress, but we could see even more improvement at some point in Season 2 or beyond. Or there's also the possibility that they are done improving the UI. This is going to be what we end up sticking with for the foreseeable future. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, I saw this tweet over from the Ghost of Hope a little while ago. I mean, this is November 22nd, but he asked, why is this not the friends list tab in Modern Warfare 2? Makes no sense. And this is a pretty solid redesign of the friends list menu. I mean, this is hopefully something we end up seeing in the next Black Ops game, which will probably have some more traditional elements to it, even if that game is on the same engine or put at the same menu as COD 2.0 like we have right now. That game will probably still have more traditional look and feel to it like we got with Black Ops Cold War, but that's of course still speculation. We then got this tweet from Harrison Makes Things over on Twitter. He watched Iceman Isaac's video where he briefly discussed tabbing between gear and weapons in buy stations. He liked the idea so much that he gave the buy station a redesign. So this looks pretty damn clean, and the fact that just added loadouts back into buy stations has me thinking that a redesign for the UI in that buy station would probably be just icing on the cake to that new improvement with loadouts, being able to buy them. Let's see what ends up happening in the future. I mean, I don't expect a full-fledged overhaul to everything when it comes to the UI, but something like this would definitely be appreciated. Now, this is a bit of a different video here on the channel, but I want to go ahead and react to a video that Harrison Makes Things also posted over on YouTube in regards to the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 user interface. So he actually redesigned the entire thing, and it's a brilliantly put together video, which I'm gonna have linked down below in this video's description. Definitely drop him a sub and drop him a like over on this really well put together video. So let's jump right into it. Awesome music, by the way. Huge Stranger Things vibes. Let's see. Really good editing.
Modern Warfare 2 is a really good game with great gameplay mechanics. The world graphics, the weapon modeling, audio design, and gunplay as a whole are a step above Modern Warfare 2019, which were already quite good. In most aspects of the gameplay, Modern Warfare 2 took what made Modern Warfare 2019 great, and it was evolved naturally. The big problem is that the user interface, or UI, hinders the gameplay whenever possible. It's too busy, too complicated, and just plain counterintuitive to the game. They decided to reinvent the wheel with the UI instead of taking the same natural evolution approach that they took with the gameplay. The barrier to entry in the game is higher than it's ever been, despite its gameplay being better than ever.
That's such a powerful statement. I've said that 100 times in the podcast, but he articulated it so much better for this video. The innovation offered in Modern Warfare 2 is unreal. I'm a huge fan of the new modes, new opportunities, new features, but it's the UI, even the marketing sometimes, the execution of all this content, which isn't really clear, especially for casuals. I can't imagine, working 9 to 5, being able to play like 2-3 hours a week and trying to navigate through all this new UI, which is really damn confusing. It's just a lot for people.
With the gameplay, there are several noticeable adjustments that clearly cater to a newcomer of the series by lowering the barrier to entry. Casual players can do very well in the game with this evolution of the formula. Footsteps are very loud, which favors getting easy kills by sitting in corners.
It's a solid commentary too.
The package system is designed to make perks feel less important, which makes the game more accessible to a player that doesn't want to have to consider trade-offs in perk categories. The problem is that while the gameplay has become more friendly to a serious newcomer, the UI design is friendly to nobody. This is because while the gameplay has taken the natural evolution approach, the UI design tried to reinvent the wheel for no reason through poor design, and thus it raised the barrier to entry for everyone.
Yeah, barrier to entry seems to be a reoccurring problem for some elements of COD 2.0, especially Building 21, for example, a map that kind of just came out, wasn't really marketed as a new map either, but the barrier to entry for that new DMZ map is also strange with the key cards in Al Mazrah, then the map being rotated in and out every couple days. I mean, barrier to entry is something that I hope to see a lot of improvement on with some future COD installments for sure. Good timestamps as well for this video. Yeah, he's gonna break it down. Ooh. This is really
The
solid
most
editing.
noticeable and by far the worst change to Modern Warfare 2's UI is that most of the menus have opted for a horizontal layout rather than a standard vertical list.
Yeah, everybody loves
The information
vertical.
is presented as large boxes with pictures or icons. Because of this design, less information can be shown at a time. With game modes, we can see 3 at a time. With loadouts, we see 6 at a time. It's very counterintuitive, and it makes looking for anything at a glance take a lot longer. Game modes, weapons, or cosmetic items take so much longer than they did in previous games.
Don't disagree there at all.
My concept with the lobby takes the approach of natural evolution in UI
That's
design.
beautiful. I wish
First
we had
and
that.
foremost,
I
I
wish
will
we had
always
that.
opt for a drop-down vertical list format. It's a lot more intuitive. It
Danny
makes sense.
DeVito's his name.
On the left side of the screen, we have our game modes. The challenges box has been moved to the right-hand side of the screen in order to communicate visual hierarchy. The middle shows you, the player.
Yeah.
On either
That's
side,
so
we have
freaking
supporting
clean.
information on what the player can do. On the left, we scroll through the games we want to play. On the right, we see supporting information. The goals we can complete in the game, the message of the day, and our XP tokens, and our countdown.
Yeah, so this was put out before they actually added a countdown timer into Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2. Luckily, that's a huge improvement that finally got added, but this alone looks phenomenal. I mean, no disrespect to the artist or designer who put together the COD 2.0 UI, but I think people out there have come to a pretty general consensus. Actually, you know what? I'll correct myself. A big collective agreement across the board. Content creators, casuals, hardcores, sweats, CDL players, that the UI right now just isn't it. But
This really is.
can they change it much? Who knows?
To be a totally original idea. The fact is, though, it's very intuitive.
That's
During
really
the most
intuitive.
popular time in gaming, March 2020,
Ooh,
everyone
yeah.
I know played Warzone, and they got familiar with the game. Over 125 million people have played Warzone. Utilizing a refined version of its lobby UI lowers the barrier to entry and puts key information
sure.
where millions of players already expect it to be.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of reinventing the wheel when you don't have to, as you already said. I mean, especially with the fact that some time went into the new UI by far. I mean, it's that different from previous CODs. What if that time could have went into other aspects of the game that needed to work? If that was possible, I know it's different departments and all, but instead of wasting the time on a new UI for what? The social tab. See, this might be a bit outdated because they did fix the social tab as of recently, but let's still see what
Speaking of Warzone's
he has to say about
success and huge player base, let's talk about the social tab. During the last 2 years of Warzone, I've made a lot of friends. Everyone knows Call of Duty is a friend-oriented game. Everything's more fun with a buddy to play with. In fact, Call of Duty knows just how valuable teammates are. One of Modern Warfare 2's taglines is, "The ultimate weapon is team." The problem with that, though, is that I can't figure out how to play with my team.
That's such a
Modern
man.
Warfare 2 social
This
tab
video is gold,
very
man.
poorly laid out.
That
It's
is
kind of
great.
inexplicable.
How
I
do you
wanna
find
join
the
my
team?
friend Paul's game? To do that, I press R3 like the UI tells me to. There, I'm greeted with names I've never
It's
even
the
heard of.
horizontal
They're
part that's the
definitely not
problem.
my friend Paul. This is the social hub, a totally unnecessary menu that shows me players I'm not familiar with. After a little while of digging, I realized that there's a separate friends tab. Here,
It shouldn't
you
be
get
that hard to
scroll
get to
through
that.
Again,
Oh, he's friends with Lego,
4
nice.
big boxes that only show 4 of my 67 friends at a time. It's gonna take a while to find my friend Paul.
Yeah, it does take a while to find people.
Here's my
It's-
concept. Let's scrap the hub entirely. It's pointless. It doesn't make sense. My social tab shouldn't go straight to totally foreign names. Very rarely do I care
I
about players
completely
I've been
agree
in
with
a
that.
game
I'll never understand why recent players are prioritized in any way. Have a tab for it, for sure. We use that.
Instead,
but
the
over
social
friends that are
tab
online,
will
it
show
shouldn't
our
be there.
friends first and foremost.
This is so beautiful.
Like the
Oh,
lobby, key information moves from left to right, establishing visual hierarchy. In the middle, we see the player we're currently selected on. It's my friend Paul. On the right, we have supporting information about Paul. Wow, he's level 200 already? He really must be enjoying his new PC. Below that, we can see
Yeah.
that Paul's still in the game of Battle Royale.
Yeah, so he's not
So I've
joinable.
got a minute to wait. At the bottom, we can see the usernames of the players he's
Donkey
partied
brains.
with. So if I'm not feeling like playing with Donkey Brains tonight, I don't have to. With this new concept, the ultimate weapon truly is team.
That just improved that tagline 100%. This is brilliant. Loadouts. This is a big one. This is a big one.
The loadout menu in this game is just plain difficult to use. Like the game modes and the friends list, we can only view a certain amount of loadouts at one time, as opposed to seeing the full list. Did I make my ghost loadout? Well, maybe, but I have to add 10 seconds to find out. Most of the people I play with hop between a bunch of different...
The irony is that doesn't even apply to Warzone, because Infinity Ward literally confirmed that you're not supposed to be able to edit perks for Warzone. They're supposed to just give you the packages, and then you just choose a package. Multiplayer, you can switch the actual perks in them, but that's kind of ironic that he's already describing a problem with the package that
loadouts.
Only applies to multiplayer.
Sometimes we go between using baby monitors and stims. Yeah. Sometimes we want to change our primary gun to a new one across the board. Yeah. With this horizontal layout, all of that takes a lot longer, so we have to scroll through 6 at a time, as opposed to seeing the names of every one of our loadouts at once. To change that, I've taken the graphic style of Modern Warfare 2's current system and brought it back in line with the traditional vertical layout. This means it's much easier to see at a glance when I'm running on each of my classes individually.
That makes
it's a minimal redesign, but it makes a world of difference functionally.
That's so much better. And you have all the right space to actually scroll through things. I mean, that is just fantastic. I think what's sad is that you just know we're not going to get big changes like that to the UI, but hopefully future CODs could have it.
Ambition with their game is very impressive. Within a month of Modern Warfare 2 being out, we now have a campaign, multiplayer, Spec Ops, DMZ, and of course their favorite cash cow, Warzone 2.
Their favorite one.
I play a lot of Warzone. I can usually tell pretty quickly when I'm not going to like something. This time around, the map is solid. It's beautiful.
Easily.
There are a couple of gameplay changes that are a little more questionable. I'm looking at you, AI and backpack system. However, these sort of big picture ideas are going to take me more time to tell if they're inherently good or bad changes. One thing we can all agree on, though, is that the UI and the HUD are a major step back from its previous state.
It just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense why Warzone 2 gives the impression that they've never done this before when there was a formula that worked with the UI and navigation.
I think this was
1.
done in order to make Warzone 2 feel different from Warzone 1's final state.
Outdated.
I get that their bottom line is to demonstrate how Warzone 2 is a totally new game, but the
I respect that
is a major step back. Here's how we can change that. Let's bring back the player HUD from its previous state.
I love that. That quality of life change from Warzone 1, like that was amazing.
When Raven did that. All of my information.
I completely agree with this.
Gas mask.
I thought, if anything, those things being added so late to Warzone 1, like during Vanguard cycle or whatever that was just guaranteeing that Warzone 2 would launch with those features and improvements. But the fact that that didn't happen.
Field upgrade and my self-revive. Likewise for my teammates. It removes the unnecessary complication of having to ask if my teammate has a gas mask or a kill streak on them.
It eliminates that discussion, especially with proximity chat and whatnot. I mean, they maybe want to encourage you to use that, but I mean, it still looks new when you redesign it. It still looks brand new.
We could be able to see our teammates' backpacks so that we can view everything they have to offer to the team.
That's sick too.
This would solve a lot of the huge problems about the HUD and the new looting system as a whole.
That would also make people encouraged to give the backpack system a try, even though it works better in DMZ than Battle Royale. I still think that would
Additionally,
be well done.
The pinging system is a major step back from Warzone.
I don't understand the pinging system.
The pinging sound is a lot worse. It's quieter and it's more unclear as a whole.
It's a little too transparent.
The pings in-game are literally white, so there's almost no contrast. Here's a quick idea.
Just have them colored. Why can't they be green?
Bright ping colors, based on your assigned player color.
Yeah.
Here's another idea. Let's have the option to choose our player color, so my squad will always know who's the orange player and who's the blue player.
Thanks. What about visually impaired players? That transparent part wasn't working for them that well.
I'm not totally against the 2v2 Gulag, if done right. I'll admit, it's actually been really fun to come together with an enemy and take on the other enemy team. My main issue with it, though, is that it's really unclear to me who's winning in the Gulag. It's going to be a huge issue in a casual game mode like Gunfight, but in the Gulag, it's fast action.
Imagine if Gunfight has the exact same
dictate the entire outcome of my match, since regaining is a lot harder in this mode. To simplify things, there should be 2 health bars at the top, instead of all 4 of our names.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
From Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops Cold War.
What's ironic is that if Gunfight ended up having a UI just like MW19, people would have 100% asked for that to be added to the Gulag for Warzone, 100%.
In this fast-paced gameplay, I should see if I'm the sole fighter very, very quickly. As it stands, all 4 Gulag contestants are shown at the top. When one of us dies, the name is crossed out in a blood effect. It's super hard to tell at a glance. This change would help a lot. Additionally, I don't like how my Gulag teammates' health bar isn't shown. We have an alliance together right now.
Yeah,
We're on the same
you should
team.
want to know that. Yeah.
When you're in your Gulag match, the player HUD should be replaced with your alliance mate. This makes our odds a lot more clear when timing and speed is everything.
Very well said. Yeah, ground loot boxes. It's just, I mean, the UI and some of the changes with looting just make it feel like a Battle Royale was built on top of DMZ, and DMZ was the actual mode in development for years.
About the looting system all day, but I'm sure it's going to get ironed out in time. The community obviously isn't responding very positively towards the looting changes. One easy change that would help me a lot, though, is the ground loot information box becoming clearer.
The information.
Just by changing the font and some of the colors. In Warzone 1, it's very easy to see what I'm highlighted on at a glance. In Warzone 2, the colors don't have very much contrast, and the font is a slim, uppercase sans serif title font. It takes a minute to read when I'm hovered over. When fast looting is key, I need to be able to read what gun I'm about to pick up.
You don't have time to sit there for 45 seconds reading what that says. It's an exaggeration. But
finally, I can't stand the scoreboard being tied to the minimap and having to scroll over to the right. Maybe instead, we could bring it back to how it was in Warzone 1? I like to look at my kills very quickly, and adding the extra step of having to open the TAC map and scroll seems like a very unnecessary change.
Yeah. Those are prime examples.
I could go on for hours about Warzone 2 fundamental changes, and will likely make a follow-up regarding DMZ.
I hope he does. I hope he does.
At minimum, these changes would make the quality of life in Warzone 2 a lot better.
Yeah. This was so well done. I mean, this is the way to provide constructive criticism respectfully to the hard men and women that work at these studios without being an asshole on Twitter or in YouTube comments or on Reddit. This is the way to actually do it. You don't have to make a full-fledged presentation or a video like this, but if you were to tweet out some of these things too, I mean, hell yeah. That's the best way to get communication across to the devs. Now, this last timestamp is about miscellaneous changes. I'm going to leave this video down below for those that want to see it. I don't want this reaction video to be too long here on the channel, but you guys get the gist of everything going on here. Just huge bravo to Harrison Makes Things Over on YouTube for putting out this video. He posted it on, what was it, a couple weeks ago. And yeah, show him some love. Show him some love on Twitter as well. He also tweeted out about his redesign. Absolute legend, and I hope to see more videos coming out from his channel. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on a supposed UI redesign for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2? This will be the way to do it. Now, I don't think they're going to do all of these changes, but such a good video they got put together. I hope at least a couple devs or artists see it so they can maybe incorporate some of these things over the course of this year, even next year, if there's a second year of support. But let me know what you think down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.